Girls, it's Diego. It's time for a surprise live stream. Happy September 12th, 2023. Now, I had lots of questions from folks yesterday asking me questions, and I had people asking me questions about the I-134, the Declaration of Financial Support, etc. Now, one question I got about the I-134 is somebody said, my attorney said I only need one I-134 if I have a joint sponsor. Well, that's true, and it's not true. Okay, you do need one I-134. If you're a joint sponsor, the joint sponsor has to fill out the Declaration of Financial Support, sign it in black ink. But I recommend that you fill out the I-134 also, Mr. Sponsor, Miss Sponsor, even if your income, well, obviously your income is not sufficient. But I recommend you bring along an I-134 to the interview just in case the embassy officer asks for it. Okay, it's true. If you have a joint sponsor, okay, for an I-134, you only need one I-134 for the joint sponsor. But what I recommend you guys do is also fill one out for yourself as the sponsor, because the immigration officer might say, well, I need your financial information. You never know, right? So, that's just my opinion. So I recommend that you fill out the I-134 for yourself, Mr. Sponsor, Miss Sponsor. Get your joint sponsor to fill one out, okay? Get all the tax paperwork and the financial paperwork and the employer letters and the pay stubs, the bank statements for both of you, the sponsor and the joint sponsor. Now, the embassy officer may only ask for the joint sponsor's paperwork. The embassy officer may ask for the sponsor and the joint sponsor's paperwork. So cover the base, okay? Cover the base. Just my recommendation. James 1, hi Diego, what's going on, James? And James 1, is the July I-134 still good? Yeah, you can still use it. Still use the I-134 for the edition date and July 31st, 2023. You can still use it. Estefania Flores. Hello, Diego. Hope you and your fiance are well. How have your case go in transit yet? You and I have the same NOA too? Estefania, no. We're still waiting for the welcome letter from the National Visa Center. Karina said she counted the days, and I can't remember how many it is, but we got our NOA 2 letter May 30th, 2023. So we are well past 100 days now, waiting for our National Visa Center welcome letter, email from the whatever you want to call it. So hopefully this week we'll get it, And if we don't, by the end of the week, I'll send another inquiry and say, hey, guys, what's going on? Where's our visa? Edward Tugman Jr. Hi, Diego from Liberia. What's going on, Edward, in beautiful Liberia? Now, you're on the west coast of Africa, right? Central Africa on the west coast? Or am I off a little bit there? I'm not sure. I can't quite remember. Tina. Hello, Diego. Hey, Tina. What's going on? I hope you're all doing well, everybody, watching the channel. We got 10 folks on here watching. I hope you're doing good, everybody. Thiavi, Stray POV, hello Diego, how are you doing? Thiavi, doing great. I just wanted to pop on here, do a surprise live stream for you guys. I had lots of questions that were unanswered yesterday, and people are asking lots of questions about the I-134. Big Mitch, look at you, man. High five. Thank you for that super chat, Big Mitch. Thank you so much. Big Mitch, he says, hi, Diego. I've watched a lot of your videos, but this is my first live stream. Well, Big Mitch, I'm going to add you to the credits when I make a video. Sometimes I'll put the credits on the end of the video, thanking the super chat persons, the folks that support the channel. So I'm going to add your name to the credits. Thank you, Big Mitch, for that super chat. What I'm going to talk about, I was talking about the I-134. Okay. If you need a joint sponsor, that's okay, guys. If you don't quite make enough money, hey, that's okay. You get a joint sponsor. and you fill out the I-134. The joint sponsor fills out the I-134 and provides the tax return and the pay stubs and the bank letter and the letter from the employer. But I recommend that you, Mr. Sponsor, Miss Sponsor, fill out the I-134 too, also. For you, even though you don't make enough money, it's all right. Fill it out. Get your tax returns, get your pay stubs, get your bank statements and all that jazz, and put it in a separate folder and bring it to the immigration interview. Then you wait and see what the immigration officer wants. The immigration officer will say, I just want your joint sponsor's paperwork. Oh, here you go. The immigration officer might say, well, I need your joint sponsor's paperwork and your paperwork. You never know. You don't want to get caught in the trap. So it takes what? How long does it take to fill out the I-134? 30 minutes? Fill it out. Big Mitch, thank you for that super chat. Thank you. Antonio Clark, is it easy to send an inquiry if you have not received your welcome letter yet? Yeah, I've sent one already. You can send it to the MVC. Send the inquiry to the MVC. You go to MVC inquiry. You put in the receipt number from your NOA2 letter. You put in your beneficiary's name, date of birth. You put in your relationship to the beneficiary, petitioner, sponsor. And then you write a little message to the MVC asking, Mother, may I? Where's my visa? What's going on? What's the status? Be respectful. These folks are busy. Don't get angry with them. Just be kind and very courteous to them, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that just keep, treating them badly. So send them a nice message, and then you will get a response in about 4 or 5 days. It's easy to do. And bye. Hi, Diego. Thanks for your information. I am very happy today. We got our welcome letter today. Thanks to God. High five. Bye. Great job. Do you know how much time it took from NOA2 to when you got your welcome letter? People want to know that. Double D or DD. NOA2 June 1st. Welcome email August 29th. Interview appointment scheduled for December 5th for Cameroon. Very good. Look at you. Good job. It wasn't hard to do, was it? Cue me. FYI implementation. FYI implementation. Implementation. Doing MVC inquiry speeds up your case creation and transfer. It works. Send one. Follow up with the same email response address. Thank me later. Cue me. Okay, well, I'll thank you right now. Good information. In fact, what I'll do in support of QMe's post here in your YouTube channel, I will send another inquiry to the MVC after the live stream. I'll send it, okay? And we'll see what happens. Hopefully it will speed it up. We'll see. But it's a process, right? The last inquiry that I sent, they emailed me back and they said, we'll notify you when we ship your case to the embassy, which is Bogota, Colombia. And Karina right now, today's her day off, so she's at home with our cat Tokyo watching the show. And we just got Tokyo neutered. I guess that's the word. Is it spayed or neutered? Neutered. We don't want Tokyo making baby cats in Colombia, and we don't want Tokyo making baby cats here in Florida. So we got them neutered, and it was very inexpensive. So we want to shout out to the vet in Bogota. Thank you, Mr. Vet. And Karina's taking care of Tokyo today while he heals. Oof. Angel Mercia. Good morning, Diego. What's going on, Angel? How are you? I hope you're doing fine. I hope everybody's doing fine. I just went over some things about the I-134, the Declaration of Financial Support. You can still use the current edition. It's still good. And if you have a joint sponsor, technically you only need the joint sponsor to fill out the I-134. But I recommend the sponsor fill it out too. Cover that base. You don't want to get stuck in that trap. Immigration officers can be finicky. You show up with your I-134 in your hand, Mr. Beneficiary, filled out by the joint sponsor, and then the immigration officer says, I want to see your I-134. I need to see your name on this document too. So just fill it out. Tax transcripts and 1040s. I recommend you get 3 years worth of tax transcripts, 3 years worth of 1040s, 3 years worth of W-2s and 1099s, and 3 years worth of, those financial documents. When you go to the immigration interview for your K-1 visa, Miss Beneficiary, Mr. Beneficiary, more than likely, 99% of the time, the immigration officer is going to ask you only for the last tax return and the last W-2, the last 1099, etc. But sometimes they ask for the tax transcript and the 1040. Sometimes they ask for the 1040. Sometimes they ask for the tax transcript sent to them through a specific portal, which was in Algeria. I think Algeria or Morocco. They got some different process. But I recommend you get 3 years worth of tax transcripts, 1040s, W-2s, 1099s, and 6 months worth of pay stubs, 12 months worth of bank statements. Okay? Now, some embassies are asking for transcripts. Some embassies are asking for the 1040. Get both. All right? It's easy to do. It's not hard to do. Angel Mercia, good. Angel, say hi to you. Licia, baby, Barbara, good evening, Diego, all the way from Nigeria. How are you and Karina doing today? We're doing great. How is things in Nigeria? Now, your embassy interview is going to be in Lagos. Okay, you got to keep trying to get that visa interview in Lagos. They're busy. Tina, Diego, the consular officer didn't ask my fiance any of the financial documents. Should I be concerned about this? No. Like I said, Tina, immigration officers run their show. It's their show. Okay? If they don't ask you for financial documents, then that means you get your visa approved. It goes in your passport. When you get to the United States, then you have to prove your income. Okay? Then you have to fill out the I-864, affidavit of support. You got to be at least 125% of the minimum federal income requirements, okay? But I recommend that you make at least $2,000 above 125% of the minimum income requirements. If you don't, you got a good chance you're going to get an RFE, a request for further evidence from immigration, because your income, if it's right on the border or, just over the minimum income requirements, you're going to get an RFE, guys. So here's my recommendation. Now, I'm not an immigration attorney. I don't work for USCIS. I don't work for the State Department, anybody. I've just been through this process 3 times, okay? What I recommend you do is get a joint sponsor if you are $2,000 or less above the minimum income requirements. If you make $2,000 above the minimum income requirements of 125%, you should be okay. It depends on the immigration officer. So some embassies ask for the I-134. Some embassies don't ask for the I-134. Some embassies want just the joint sponsors I-134. Some embassies want both, the I-134 from the sponsor and the joint sponsor. So be a well-prepared beneficiary and get it all together. Let's see. So Tina, that's interesting information. Bye. What next to the welcome letter, Diego? Well, once you get the welcome letter, you're going to use that case number to check the status in the National Visa Center SEAC account, and you're going to look for the ready status from the embassy. Now you're waiting for the embassy. The embassy ready status means that they have your visa at the embassy and they want you to process it. Okay? They're waiting for you to start processing it, which means fill out the DS-160, pay the visa fee. Some embassies require you to pay the visa fee at a bank in your beneficiary's home country, in the city near the embassy. Some expect you to pay it online from your bank, do a direct deposit. It depends on the embassy. Tina, I did have everything prepared. There you go. You covered that base, Tina, just in case, right? That way you wouldn't get stuck in a 221G administrative hold because you didn't have some paperwork. Immigration officers can be finicky. Kimani Young, still waiting and waiting on my NOA2, but I've been keeping busy. Kimani, you're going to get it. You'll get your NOA2 letter. Lysia Baby, that's correct, in Lagos, in Nigeria. Cue me, when do you reference the fact that your approved NOA2 notice is coming and you and your beneficiary needs enough time to go through all the required consular process? I don't understand. What question is that, cue me? When do you reference the fact? When do you reference the fact to who? Who do you mean? Reference what fact to who? And when you get your NOA2 letter, you wait for the welcome letter. Then you wait for the ready status. Then you schedule the interview. That's how it works. Girl Dragon. Hi, Diego. Great to see you. High five, Girl Dragon. Nice to see you. How's everything? Are you doing good? Are you well rested? Did you sleep well? Did you have a big breakfast? What's going on, guys? Cue me. I did this after I had inquired 2 weeks ago. And the NVC said they will notify me when the case is sent to the consulate. I got the same email. After 2 days, I sent a follow-up, and boom, they responded with my welcome letter. Okay, cue me. I'm going to send another inquiry tonight. I'll send it later on. I'll make launch later, and then I'll send an inquiry. Christina Mercado. How long after I submit my application does it take to have my interview scheduled? What application? Your K1 visa application. Is that what you're saying? Have you filed a K1 visa yet? Christina, have you filed a K1 visa yet? Did you get an NOA1 letter? Did you get an NOA2 letter? Help me out a little bit right there so I can answer your question. Angel Tate. Hi, Diego. I really appreciate the surprise live stream. No problem, Angel. I went over to the bank, and I sent Karina some money for Tokyo's neutering. I gave her some money for that. I kept the Western Union receipt. I will make a copy of it. I'll put it on a piece of paper. I'll document it. This was financial aid to Tokyo, and that's going in my adjustment of status paperwork as continued financial support. Angel, so yeah, no problem. I like to do these live streams. Mr. Rody 14, greetings, Senor Diego. It is fantastic you are live before I go to work. Our RFE was received August 27th. Will the 90 days for the welcome letter start from then or when we get approved? Your 90 days will start from when you get the approval from the RFE. So you got an RFE, you send it in. When they respond to the RFE, okay, that's when you're going to start the wait for the welcome letter, etc. Go Dragon, you were right. Ate a big breakfast this morning. Haha, there you go. I knew it. I like big breakfast, okay? I like bacon and eggs and stuff. All the stuff that's bad for you. Mr. Rody, high five, my friend. Thank you for that super chat. You are already on our credit list. But I'm going to add the new gentleman, Mitch. He's going to get added to the list of credits for supporting the channel. Mr. Rody, thank you. Thank you very much. You know, I figured you guys needed to hear from me. There was lots of questions getting sent to me in YouTube, and I'm like, man, I'll just do a live stream. There was a gentleman, he wanted to know if he could go to his visa interview with his beneficiary in Indonesia. Yes, you can. Indonesia lets you go. Let's see. Thanks, Mr. Rody 14. Is NVC still taking 3 months to process? Well, Karina and I have gone past 3 months, and we're still waiting. So I'm going to send another inquiry tonight or later on today. Edward Tubman Jr. Edward Tubman Jr. You sound like a character from Miami Vice. I like that. That name is really cool. It sounds like you're a Miami Vice star. Hi, Diego. When you receive your case number, what's next? Then you can use the case number to track your visa to find out where it is. You can go into NVC case status, put your case number in there, and look for your visa. See where it is. Is it in transit? Is it in ready status? That's what you use the case number for. Gagan Singh. Hi, Diego. Love from India. We love our friends in India. Hope and India, you guys your space program is fantastic. You got a great space program, sending probes to the moon, probes to the sun. You guys are great, doing good things for science. I hope you and Karina are doing good. I see some people got their welcome letter in 60 days. That's good. Some are, and 45 days. And have you got your welcome letter? No, I haven't. We've gone way past 100 days, okay? So I'm going to drop an inquiry later on. Girl Dragon, watching your videos and live stream keeps me motivated. There you go. While waiting for the darn embassy in Lagos to respond to my fiance. You get Girl Dragon, you'll be fine. Just got to be patient. Now remember, Nigeria is a little bit slower than other embassies right now. Just a little bit slower, but just be patient. You will get it. You'll get her done. G34HMO. Hi, Diego. Hope all is well. We received the K1 FTP letter. Is that the same thing as the welcome letter? Well, that means it's being mailed to the embassy. The K1 FTP letter is basically an in-transit letter. Also logged into the SIAC account and it says ready. Okay, so your visa is already at the embassy. K1 FTP means in transit. Ready means it's at the embassy. So what you need to do now is start processing the visa. Fill out the DS-160, pay the visa fee. There's a specific order you have to do it. Depends on the embassy. Some embassies say fill out the DS-160 first. Some say pay the visa fee first. So I think in Colombia, I have to fill out the DS-160 first, then pay the visa fee. So get on it. Get ready. G34HMO, our consulate is in Juarez, Mexico. Juarez, Ciudad, Mexico. No problem. Mexico's beautiful country, Mexico. I've been to Mexico lots of times. Very nice place. Merv Yildiz. Hello, Diego. We received RFE August 23rd. We sent the letter as proof of marriage within 90 days. We will have a very simple wedding, and we will only marry a few of our friends. Okay, you said you're going to marry a few of your friends. You're going to marry your fiance. You're not going to marry your friends. Okay? I mean, unless you're a Mormon, then you can marry anybody you want. I'm kidding. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Don't worry. If you forgot to put the letter of intent to get married in your visa package, you're going to get an RFE, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Don't mess that part up. If you haven't filed your K1 visa yet, okay, you're watching the channel, you're new to the channel, you haven't filed your K1 visa yet, make sure you include in your K1 visa package a letter of intent to get married from you, Mr. Sponsor, Miss Sponsor, and a letter of intent to get married from your beneficiary from her home country. If your beneficiary cannot speak English, she or he needs to write the letter of intent to get married in his or her language. Spanish for Karina. Karina wrote hers in Spanish. Then you translate it into English. Okay? Mr. Sponsor, do not write your letter of intent to get married for your fiancé, for your beneficiary in English. Don't write it for her. I know you're trying to be helpful. You say, okay, well, she can't speak English. I'll write the letter for her and have her sign it. Don't do that. Immigration, when you get to the visa interview, they could ask you this question to the beneficiary. Young lady, young gentleman, do you speak, excuse me, do you speak English? No. Well, how did you write your letter of intent to get married in English if you don't speak English? Boom. That's a problem. It's a big problem for immigration. If you don't speak English, write your letter of intent to get married in your home language, whether it's in Hindi, in French, in Spanish, in Korean, South Korean, German, whatever country. Okay, write it. But if you can speak fluent English, if you can hold a conversation in English, and you can read and write English, you can write your letter of intent to get married in English and sign it and date it, Mr. Sponsor, Miss Sponsor. But you got to be fluent in English. G34HMO, thank you, no worries. Furious Ram, hi Diego. I went on the MVC website to check the case number status, and they told me it is invalid. What does that mean? So you went to the MVC website to check the case number status, and they told you the case number is invalid? Is that what they said? Maybe you're typing it in wrong. Maybe you're typing the case number in the wrong place. Maybe they haven't created it yet. They sent it to you, but they haven't made it public. So you can't use it until you get the ready status. Maybe that's what's going on. Maybe the embassy is blocking it until they get the ready status. Okay? But you should be able to check the status of your case with the case number. Invalid means that the number doesn't exist. Well, it does exist. They assigned it to you. Christina Mercado, I reviewed my NOA 2 letter, June 1, received welcome letter, August 29th, 2023, received a response from El Salvador Consulate, September 6, 2023, to start on the application. I guess I will be paying the fees after. Yeah, it depends on what is the U.S. Consulate in El Salvador, what are their rules for you guys? Every embassy has their own way of doing things, guys. So the embassy in El Salvador may require you to fill out the DS-160 first, then pay the visa fee. Angel Tate, we didn't handwrite our letter of intent. Instead, we typed it, then signed with a black ink. Will that be a problem? No, I typed mine. When I submitted my letter of intent to get married to immigration in my K-1 visa, Karina, she wrote hers on her computer in Spanish. I wrote mine on my computer in Spanish. She signed it. I was with her at the time. I was in Colombia with her, so she printed it, signed it, and then we notarized it in the Bogota. Then I flew back to the United States and put both letters together, mine in English, hers in Spanish with her translation. It was all done on a computer. We signed the forms in black ink. I don't recommend you signing a blue ink, but blue ink won't be a deal breaker. But you really need to sign every document in black ink, guys. It won't be a problem, angels, if you signed it in blue ink. It won't be a problem if you filled them out on a computer. But next time, use black ink for the second letter for the embassy interview. Benny Yao's in the house. Wait a second. I don't want to miss anybody. Christina, how long do you think it will be after submitting the DS-160 that we get scheduled for the interview in El Salvador? I'll probably take about 4 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks. It depends on how many interview slots they have open. El Salvador is in Central America. I haven't seen too many problems in Central America. Other than Nicaragua, sometimes it's difficult. Nicaragua, but is a communist country, so the immigration officer puts the applicants through stringent security checks in Nicaragua. It's just part of the deal. But El Salvador, you'll be okay. Probably 4 to 6 weeks. Benny Yao, hi Diego. Since there doesn't seem to be a logic around when the welcome letter may come, does it depend on how busy the embassy is or the country of the beneficiary? I think so. But there should be no reason why the MVC doesn't assign a case number, even though it hasn't been shipped to the embassy. So if the embassy's backlogged with cases, the MVC should at least create a case number where you can keep track of the case. You would think, right? But when an embassy's busy, you won't get the ready status. The embassy won't assign you an invoice number or the ready status. Some embassies require an invoice number, some don't. It's U.S. government for you, ladies and gentlemen. It's how things roll. So Benny Yao, your beneficiary is in the Ivory Coast. She lives in the Ivory Coast, right? Benny Yao, I'm asking because some claim to be getting their letter in 45, 60, or 90, or 100 plus days. Yes, we've gone way past 100 days. Karina and we're way past 100 days. We're probably at about, 105 days, somewhere in there. According to Karina, we were 104 days yesterday, so 105 days. It is what it is, right? I'm going to send an inquiry tonight or later on after this. Gagan Singh, how do I check my case status after we get NOA 2? You got to wait for the welcome letter, Gagan Singh. Wait for the welcome letter. Then you'll get a case number. You use the case number to check your status. Rob F. Hey, Diego, my fiance is in China, and it took about 9 weeks, and I want inquiry to go from USCIS approval to State Department email welcome letter. It took 9 weeks to go from inquiry to approval welcome letter. Also, the interview is coming up on the 21st of this month. So 9 weeks, that's pretty quick. And that's good. Now remember, don't forget the police certificates. In China, your beneficiary is going to need police certificates from every province she lived in. Okay? So if she lived in 2 provinces, she'll need 2 police certificates. Rob F. Initially, there were no appointments available till November, but it is wise to check back often. You're right. That is how we found an opening so quickly. Good job, Rob F. You are showing excellent initiative. Janet Smith. Hi, Diego. Greetings from the UK. Now, UK, ladies and gentlemen, is the United Kingdom, England. Today, NVC emailed my partner that they have received our petition from USCIS, and they will now forward the petition to the U.S. Embassy in London. Well, congratulations, Janet. You're going to get a weekend in London. I don't know if you live in London, but when you go to get your visa, okay, please have a big plate of fish and chips for me. I went to England on vacation in 1996 for a month, 30 days, and I eat fish and chips every day with pickled onions. And I ate 2 boxes of Jaffa cakes a day. I tell you, I gained like 10 pounds. Janet Smith, NVC, gave us a case number. NOA2 was July 6th. So I think it was like 65 days. There you go. Tina, Diego, I don't know how others are able to schedule the date coming here to the U.S. while still waiting for the passport with their visa. How to schedule? They're trying to schedule what? Schedule the date? You mean buy a plane ticket? I don't understand, Tina, the question. CFO. Oh, okay. Now I understand. So you're Philippines. This is the Philippines. In the Philippines, you got to have a CFO, certificate to allow you to leave the Philippines. It's a class you go to, a 4-hour class to prepare you to leave the Philippines. The Philippine government is trying to look after you to make sure you don't become a fish out of water when you get to America. But my beneficiary can't schedule his CFO appointment in Manila until he has his passport. Right. They probably want to see the visa and the passport. They want to see where your beneficiary is going. Well, he's going to America. He could have a visa for going to some other country. The Philippines just want to see what country, and they want to see you're leaving. Okay. Then they'll schedule the CFO. Well, the class. Mr. Nahas, hi Diego, how are you? Mr. Nahas, doing great. And my friend Mr. Nahas from beautiful Iraq, high five. And we send our best wishes to your friends and family in Iraq. Janet Smith, I live in central London. Well, there you go, Janet. You live in central London. Then you've been to Madame Tussauds. You've been to Tower of London. You've seen the crown jewels, right? Have you seen all those things? Have you been to Madame Tussauds? Have you gone into the Natural History Museum in London and seen all those dinosaur bones? Have you done all that? If you haven't, get it done. Go do it. Because when you leave England, it's going to be a long time before you come back to visit family. Tina, we are still waiting for his passport. Okay, gotcha. So you got the visa. You turned in the passport. Now you're waiting for the passport so you can schedule the CFA, right? Isn't that what it's called? I got you. I understand. You could go email the embassy and ask them, what's going on? What's the status? Tina, yes, Diego. Okay, Tina, so you've been to Madame Tussauds, you've been to the Tower of London, you've seen the crown jewels, you've been to the Natural History Museum. You've done all that. Okay, well, you got all this free time to go eat a plate of fish and chips for me, because I love fish and chips, and the pickled onions especially, with lots of salt and lots of vinegar. Now, as they say that salt raises the blood pressure, But who cares? It's good. It tastes good. Come on, guys. I've been chatting for 30 minutes. Give me some more questions. Give me some questions. Now, I'm putting all these pictures on a flash drive. When I was in Colombia for a year and a half, I lived in Colombia for at least a year and a half. I've been downloading all my pictures off my computer, putting a date on them, and putting them on a flash drive. Okay? It's always good to back up all your pictures on a flash drive in case your computer crashes. Now, I'm not saying my computer's going to crash, but I've got pictures covered on the flash drive. Mr. Nahas, no luck on receiving your welcome letter yet. No, I don't have it. No worries. I'm still waiting for welcome letter. It's been 63 days. Okay, we've been, Karina, according to Karina, my beautiful prometida, in Bogota, Colombia, watching us from Colombia. She said it's been 104 days yesterday. So that means today's 105 days. That's a long time. I'm going to knock out an inquiry later on. Tucker Britt, any updates on Mexico? The visas are being processed in Mexico. It's been taking a couple of months to get interviews, Ciudad Juarez and Mexico City. I believe those are the two places that you can get your K1 visa. It's just taking a little while. Mexico is a big place. They got lots of people and lots of K1 visas in the queue. Furious Ram, how do I know when the MVC received my case? Because all they sent me was the case number, but no data as to when they received it. Morocco. Okay, well, if they sent you a case number, then they have your case. Your visa's at the MVC. It's sitting on a shelf. Every day, check the status of your case with the case number and find out what the status is. Morocco is a busy embassy also. Morocco is a bit backed up, okay? A little bit. Not much, but a little bit. So they're not processing visas as fast as we would like, but they are getting through them, okay? But Furious Ram, use your case number to check what the status is in the MVC. Paolo Kimani. Hi, Diego and Karina. My question is, we filed our case on 9 December 2022. When can we expect our approval? Paolo, you should get an NOA2 letter from USCIS probably towards the middle of December of this year. Now, remember, December is Christmas, so the folks at the embassies and the MVC and USCIS will probably be on shift work taking vacations. They're going to be figuring out their Christmas vacation schedule. So things may slow down just a little bit in December, but you should get your NOA2 letter probably by, hopefully November, but probably by mid-December. Janet Smith, my doctor has sent me a list of my vaccinations. Ooh, what a nice gift that was, right? So I will take it to the medical. I have all my COVID vaccinations, including boosters. I will be taking the next autumn booster. You don't need to take a booster anymore, Janet, to come to the USA or to apply for a green card. You don't need the booster for COVID for a green card. You just need to show that you had the initial set of vaccinations. Now, I'm not a medical doctor, and I'm not agreeing and I'm not disagreeing with the COVID policies of the United States, okay? Whatever the government says we got to do, as long as it's constitutional. But in order to get your green card, you got to have at least the initial round of COVID vaccinations. You don't need the booster. Paolo Kimani, thanks for your information we got from you. God bless you. No problem, Paolo. We're going to get you over the finish line. We're going to get you figured out and get your K1 visa in your beneficiary's passport. Rob F., another point. The I-134 that is available on the consulate page is dated 7/31, so technically invalid, but I completed it anyway. It's not invalid since that is the only option they have available. If it's the only option available, then that's not invalid. It means it's still valid, right? Immigration will change it when they get around to changing it. When they change it, you guys will be the first to know, okay? And I'll make a video about it. Janet Smith, okay, Diego, thanks for telling me. I appreciate it. Yeah, Janet, you don't need the booster, okay? Don't, in my opinion, don't get it. Just my opinion. The U.S. government doesn't require it. They just need the initial round, the first two. Paolo Kamani, and you're much welcome in Kenya. Oh, I would love to go to Kenya, okay? I've been to North Africa, I've been to South Africa, but I've never been to Kenya. And I think Kenya is East Africa, right? And you have the Serengeti, and you have the safaris. What's the name of that park in Kenya? I know in South Africa they have Kruger National Park. Kruger National Park, I've been there, but I can't remember in Kenya. But I would love to go to Kenya. When Karina becomes a U.S. citizen, 3 years after she gets her green card issued, boom, we're going to start to travel. But not till she's a U.S. citizen and she has a U.S. passport. KGBB, KJB, not KGB, right? You're not from the Soviets. KJBB. Hello, Diego. My NOA 1 is February 9th, 2022. When will I get my NOA 2? February 20, probably January of 2020. Wait a second. February. Let me read that again. You deleted it. Where's the message? What did you do with the message? Sheriff Jenai. Hi, Diego, Karina, and Ortum. Any updates on Hong Kong? Well, Hong Kong is processing K1 visas. Now, Hong Kong is part of China, okay? So remember, what you got to get, don't forget the police certificate. If your beneficiary lives in Hong Kong, it's much easier to go in person to get the police certificate, okay? The Hong Kong police will not give you the police certificate. You cannot download it from a computer or anything like that. To get a police certificate in Hong Kong, you have to go in person to the police station, pay the fee, take their fingerprints, take the photo, and then bring your welcome letter or NOA 2 letter from the immigration folks, and then they will mail the police certificate to the embassy or the consulate in Hong Kong. Okay? So you just can't go into the Hong Kong police station and ask for a police certificate. You got to pay a fee, fill out some forms, and they will mail it to the U.S. consulate in Hong Kong. And you have to prove you are in the middle of a K1 visa process. You got to prove it. NOA 2 letter. Paolo Kimani, you're right. Kenya is in East Africa. The national park is called Mas. Yeah, Mas. Yeah, Masai Mara Safari. Masai. Yeah, the Masai. The Masai live in Kenya. And they do this. They have this fantastic dance ritual that they perform, and then they jump up and down. And the person that jumps the highest, I believe, is given, like, I don't know, the kingship of that group. KJB. B. Hello, Diego. My NOA 1 is February 9th, 2023. When will I expect my NOA 2? February 2024. Probably January 2024. I would say January. Things are getting a lot faster at USCIS. You may even get it by December. You could. Possibility of this year. But you got to remember, the MVC is not moving fast. The embassies are not moving fast. So I expect you to get your K1 visa in your passport probably between 6 and 8 months after you get your NOA 2 letter. Okay? Just an estimation right there. Just an estimation. Okay, guys? But, Paolo, the Masai Mara Safari. Yeah, I'll remember that. I'm going to take Karina there. We'll go to Kenya. I want to go to Kenya. I want to go to Australia. New Zealand, I don't think I'll go to New Zealand, but I think Australia for sure. Definitely England. Karina wants to go to England. She wants to see the crown jewels. She wants to go into Harrods and the Wax Museum. And when I take her to England, we're going to jump on the train from London and go to Portsmouth, and then catch a bus from Portsmouth and maybe go to Brighton to go check out the Brighton Pavilion, or catch a bus and go to Cornwall. or Devon. I think back in the day, Cornwall was where they had all the tin mines. Sheriff, sorry, Diego, I wrote, hi. No, you're good. KJBB, thank you. You're welcome. Now, normally I drink Mountain Dew, guys, and I got a fridge full of Mountain Dew because of all the super chats you guys send me, and I'm able to buy Mountain Dew. But today I'm drinking this Great Value Walmart apple juice. Okay, apple juice is apple juice. And if it says great value, that means it's cheap, right? So I'm saving some money. But I'm going to take a swig of apple juice because I'm thirsty. Excuse me, but boy, I had to take a drink. Ortum, do I have to make the police report after getting the welcome letter in Hong Kong? What I would do is, if you have the NOA2 letter with the visa approval, that will probably be sufficient to get the Hong Kong police certificate. But the thing is this, the police department in Hong Kong are going to mail the police certificate to the consulate in Hong Kong. Here's what I would do. Go into the police station in Hong Kong and ask them, how soon do they need the immigration paperwork to process the police certificate? Ask them, how long does it take to process the police certificate in Hong Kong and to get it to the consulate? Okay, that's what I would do. Go ask them face to face, and then you'll have a better idea on how to do it. Making the police report after getting the welcome letter. I would say when you get the ready status. That's what I would do. So then the embassy, the consulate in Hong Kong will have your K1 visa. But ask the police station, if you are close to the police station in Hong Kong, or if your beneficiary is close to the police station, have her go and ask. S. Juarez, hello, Diego and Karina. I couldn't log in just with my MVC case number. I need that invoice number 2, and we're still waiting for it. So so your embassy requires the invoice number. Okay. So the embassy is blocking you from doing anything until they get the ready status. That's unfortunate. Janice Smith, shall we expect another letter from MVC once the petition is sent to the consulate? No, you're going to get a letter from the embassy, from the consulate. Once your visa goes to the U.S. Embassy in London, the U.S. Embassy in London will send you a packet 4, which is a welcome letter, giving you a list of instructions. The embassy will email it to you and your sponsor, but probably just the sponsor. Maggie Hatch, hello, Diego. My NOA1 is 22nd of September, 2022. Still waiting for my NOA2. Hopefully it will be soon. NOA1 is 22nd of September, 2022. So probably this month, you should, or by the first or second week of October at the latest, Maggie. Okay? Hang in there. You're close. Teja Sweeney, Mumadi, hey, there are no slots available. That's why they give me the ready status. Well, if you got the ready status, that means it's at the embassy. Okay? Just got to keep looking. Keep looking. Rob F. Hi, Diego. UK also has Universal Studios, Harry Potter movie tour. I didn't know that. So is that in London, Rob F.? So this in London, right? They have Universal Studios. I know in Paris they got Disneyland or something. They used to. I know I was in Paris, France in 1991, and I had a choice: go to Disneyland or go on a trip and explore the city. So I took the city tour. I didn't go to Disneyland, but there was a Disneyland in Paris. I don't know if there's still one there. I haven't looked. But I didn't know about Universal Studios and Harry Potter. Now, Harry Potter, I can understand Harry Potter. You know, isn't he British? Wasn't he a British wizard or something? I think so. The kids love Harry Potter. I'm going to take Karina. I think what I'll do is I'll take Karina to Universal Studios in California, Los Angeles. Teja Sweeney Mumadi, this process is stressful. No, it's not stressful. It's not. It's easy. Come on now. Will the embassy know if we married in another country and do not register our marriage? How are they going to know that? If you got married in another country and register and you tell the embassy that, then you're going to get your K-1 visa denied. So don't get married in another country. Don't get married anywhere. The only place you should be getting married is in the United States of America within 90 days. Okay? But don't be stressing this process out. Don't let immigration stress you out. Don't do it. Relax, guys. Rob F., yes, close to London. Worth the visit. And I went there about 3 years ago. Okay, great. Sounds good. Good information from Rob F. There's Universal Studios, Harry Potter tour in London. Julian A.L.O. Hello, Diego. This is Julian Allo. Julian Allo, Congolese and legal resident of Uganda. Well, Julian, nice to meet you. So you're from the Congo, and you live in Uganda. How's life in Uganda? I bet it's hot, right? The food is good. The people are beautiful, but I know the food is good. Julian, I wanted to ask something. Okay, Julian, go right ahead. This is your YouTube channel, guys. You don't have to ask me to ask something. If you got a question, go ahead and shoot. I want to help you. I'm here to help you. Okay? I am here for you guys to get you through this process. Please don't stress the process. Try to relax, okay? Don't get impatient. Yes, it's hot, but food is good, bro. Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, I know. I know the food is spicy, okay? And that is on my bucket list of places to visit. Javo, not J-Lo, right? Javo. How are you doing, Diego and Karina? We're doing great. Karina and Tokyo, our cat, are watching us from Colombia. So glad you confirmed USCIS started October 2022 applications after we chatted. No problem. You asked me if they were processed in October, and I couldn't answer because I don't ever post anything without evidence. I'm like immigration. Let me see the evidence, okay? And when I get the evidence, I make the video. My fiance, Jean, and I waited with faith and hope ours approved from November 2022. Oh, you're close. You're right at the finish line. You're right at the end. All these people keep sending me these dings. Teja Sweeney. Many people from India do not apply for the K-1 visa, and still we are not able to find slots. Well, I don't know, Teja Sweeney. I don't know. You should be able to get one. You should. In fact, just 3 days ago, somebody from India got their K-1 visa. Javo, thank you very kindly. You're welcome. So, you got to be patient during the process. People get stressed out because they are impatient. And I'm going to have to turn the volume down on my phone because I keep getting these questions from Facebook about YouTube, about immigration. Guys, I'm on a live stream. Jump on the live stream. I'm right here answering questions. I don't like Facebook. Facebook to me is just, I just don't like Facebook. The only person I talk to in Facebook Messenger is my brother, basically, is my brother. And also I will speak to folks who are processing visas for beneficiaries from Venezuela, because communication in Venezuela is not easy because the communist government are horrible. So they make life as difficult as possible for the citizens of Venezuela. So if you are in Venezuela, if you can see this video, tell your sponsor to send me messages in Yahoo Messenger. But other than that, I don't like to use Facebook. The only reason I have a Facebook account is so that when I'm in Colombia, I can post a picture on Facebook and it puts a timestamp on the picture, where I was at and what time, and then I can write who I'm with. Then I can print that off of Facebook, and it's good for immigration purposes. It identifies who's in the picture, when it was taken, and where. That's why I have Facebook. Teja Sweeney, I am really impatient. Not going to lie. There you go. So you're impatient. You want it today, but you're not going to get it today, so you're getting stressed out. Well, you're going to get your visa when you get your visa. When let's say let's put God in control of this whole process, and you'll be good, right? Now, this isn't a religious channel. It's not a political channel. This is your YouTube channel. But my K1 visa is in control of God. He's running the show. So I don't worry about it. When he's ready, when he thinks it's time, boom, I'll get my ready letter. Julian, I'm a refugee here. Okay, you left the Congo because of war. Yes, Congo is a dangerous place. My fiance is there and she's pregnant. Even we will have our new baby soon. Congratulations. We are in this process, K1 visa. Can we speed up the process? No. If your beneficiary gets pregnant, okay, congratulations. But USCIS don't care if your beneficiary gets pregnant. The process will not speed up. If you have a child on the way, immigration will still go slow as molasses. Okay, they will not speed up the process. Being pregnant, immigration says, well, that's a personal choice. That was your decision, not our decision. So get in line with everybody else. Okay. Now, if you were in a country which is a danger to you, if you feel threatened and your life feels threatened, like in the Congo, you could use that as a reason to expedite the case. But being pregnant, immigration will deny it. Juanita, Diego, good afternoon. Karina and I are almost identical, except I am CR1. There you go. You're on a spousal visa. Question, how is Karina acquiring her Venezuelan police certificate? Can you please explain in detail? It's easy, Juanita, to get a Venezuelan police certificate. Karina got her Venezuelan police certificate from the laptop computer that she has on her dining room table in Bogota, Colombia. Okay? I watched, but we had to do it. Well, she didn't. I say we. She had to do it late at night, probably 2:00 in the morning, Venezuelan time, because the infrastructure in Venezuela is horrible. The power goes out. There's no lights. The computers go down. The computers come back up. The computers go down. And then there's lots and lots and lots of people trying to get their Venezuelan police certificate from Colombia, even. To get a Venezuelan police certificate, go online, you go into the Venezuelan government website. I can't remember the name of it. The Venezuelan website for the government of Venezuela. And you look for a police certificate. You're going to put in there which country is requesting the police certificate, and you're going to put in there United States. Karina was at 2:00 in the morning. She went online into the Venezuelan government. She put in there what country is requesting this document, USA. She put her name and cedula number from her Colombian ID. Remember, she's got two cedulas, Karina. She's got one from Colombia because she's a legal resident of Colombia, and she has a cedula from Venezuela. And actually, I think I have her cedula from Venezuela with me here in Florida. So I need to bring that back to her. I put it in my wallet. She asked me to protect it in my wallet, so it's in my wallet. So I'll bring it back to her. Okay, Juanita, I've been told it's valid for only 3 months. No, the State Department has authorized 2 years from the issue date for all police certificates. Okay, they asked me what country I am in. Do I state U.S. since this? No, you're in. What country are you in? Where are you at? Are you in Colombia? If you are in Colombia, okay, you're physically in Colombia. You put Colombia, and then you put you ask, and then you say which country is it for? You put USA. Okay, so you say you're in Colombia. You need it for the USA, and then you print, and then it takes about a few minutes, and it will populate, and there's your police certificate from Venezuela. And then print like 3 copies. And Paolo Kimani, God is the best. God's time is the best. That's right. He's in control. He's in charge of my visa anyway. Julian, thank you very much for the answer. No problem. Christopher Stout, well, Philippines is the same way with their power. They will shut it off for 8 hours. See, yeah, my friend lives in Dumaguete, I think that's how you say it. And then he has a YouTube channel, and he does a live stream he does a live stream, and all of a sudden he disappears. And then he'll tell me the power went out for like 8 hours, 10 hours. They have the power, the rolling blackouts. But I mean, I don't know. I love the Philippines. If I lost power for eight hours, okay, I'll just go to the beach. Juanita, the Venezuelan police certificate is going to be good for 2 years from the issue date. Don't worry about what the Venezuelan government says, okay? Disregard it. Just go by what the U.S. government says. And once you get your police certificate, look at the issue date and add 2 years to that. And then you're in Colombia. You're going to put Colombia as where you reside. And then the United States is the country that wants the police certificate. Got it? Juanita, okay, thank you. Venezuela is asking me if the U.S. requires me to apostille. No required. Translation, yes. Apostille, no. No apostille. If you have to get apostille, you have to go to Venezuela to do that. Right? You have to go in person to do that. Janet Smith, thank you so much, Diego. Love to Karina. It's 8 p.m. now in London. So you take care and have a lovely day. As I guess it's just 3 p.m. in the U.S. Well, it's 2 p.m. here in near where I live, but it's 3 p.m. in Miami. Now, Florida is a big state. Florida is probably as big as England, okay? And there's 2 time zones in Florida, Central and Eastern. And I'm in Central time. So I'm at 2 p.m., 2:05 p.m. Central time. But you go rest up, go watch the BBC, go hang out. Go eat a packet of crisps. I love the tomato crisps in England. Is it tomato? The tomato ketchup? Oh, they're great. Ooh. J-Vo, Diego, do you think it will be red flag denied because I am in U.S. 56 years old and my fiance is 33 in the Bohol, Philippines? No. There's not a red flag. What's the problem? Immigration don't care how old you are. Immigration cares that you are legally free and able to marry. You're in a real relationship. You've met each other within 2 years, and you've been together, and you got evidence to prove it. They don't care how old you are. I've been through 2 K1 visas. This is my second one. My first wife was like 25 years old. I was like 20 years older than her. Immigration didn't care. You're good. And Karina is 22 years younger than me. Okay? Age is no big deal to her or to me. It's irrelevant. Immigration don't care, and I got my visa approved. Juanita, yes. Okay, thank you, Juanita. Venezuela is asking me if the U.S. requires me to apostille. No, you don't need to do that. Translation, yes. You need to get it translated into English. Julian ALO, here in Uganda, as a refugee, they gave us the travel documents also, but I find later they made a mistake of the city of birth, but the country is fine. Data is fine. Month is fine. Only the city. Okay, well, the travel document that you're working towards is a K1 visa. So when you fill out the DS-160, so long as you fill out the DS-160 correctly with the correct information, you're good to go. Juanita, thank you so much. No problem, Juanita. Julian, ALO of birth, which they made a mistake. No, you can correct that on the DS-160, okay? You're good. Nadi Olisa, what do you have for Nigerians? I don't know. What do I have for Nigerians? I have K1 visa information. I don't know how to answer that question, my friend. Be more specific. What information are you looking for? Julian, hope it is not a problem. No, Julian, you're good. Relax. You're good. The DS-160 is the form that immigration look at. Now, the only problem that there could be would be for if the birth certificate date, if you have your birth certificate and the date is wrong, okay, if you were born on this day and the birth certificate says this day, and then it doesn't match your passport, that's a problem. But a travel document is irrelevant. Your travel document is going to be the K1 visa, right? In your passport. So long as your date of birth and your name is correct in your passport, you're good to go. Let's see, Christopher, JVO, age doesn't matter. No, Christopher's correct. Age is no big, immigration don't care the age difference. They don't care. They do care, if your beneficiary is like 16 years old, then there's a problem. Because then you're going to violate the Ember law. The Ember, okay? Can't violate the Ember law. You can't, in the United States, you can get married at 16 or 17 with the parents' consent. Immigration won't allow that for a K1 visa. Juanita, wishing you and Karina the best. Our online processing time is about 4 weeks for USCIS. We are excited. High five, Juanita. And I hope you understand that you don't need to apostille the document for the police certificate. You just go online and you print it, okay? And then translate it into English and get the translation notarized in Bogota. Where are you at? In Bogota, Juanita? Nadi Olisa, Nigerian, and filed for K1 visa April this year. I'm still waiting. Okay. All right. Well, if you filed April of this year, April 2023, by February of next year, or March, you should hear from immigration. Juanita, yes. Okay. So Juanita, you're in Bogota. Okay. So here's what you do. You get your Venezuelan police certificate. You're going to need a Colombian police certificate also. Now, remember, Juanita, make sure you bring to the K1 visa interview, do you have a cedula to be a legal resident of Colombia? Did the Colombian government issue you a cedula? Yes? I'm sure they did. And you're CR1. Okay, it doesn't matter. You're in a marriage visa. You're in CR1 marriage visa. Are you a legal resident of Colombia? You're from Venezuela, right? And you're a legal resident of Colombia. Or you're Colombian too. So have you lived in Venezuela? You live there apparently. So you're Venezuelan/Colombian. How about that? How did you pull that off? So is your mom Colombian and your dad is Venezuelan? How does that work? Dual national. Okay. Well, dual national. Okay, I understand. So you're gonna need to bring your cedula from Venezuela, and you're going to need your cedula from Colombia. You're going to need a police certificate from Venezuela and a police certificate from Colombia. You got to prove legal residency in Colombia. Big Mitch, our superstar, Big Mitch. My fiance told me that in Brazil, when you get married, you surrender your birth certificate, and it is replaced with the marriage certificate. Would the old marriage certificate be okay to provide as a birth certificate? Okay, let me read that again. Your birth certificate. Okay. When you get married in Brazil, you surrender your birth certificate to the government, and then the government replaces the marriage certificate. Would that marriage certificate be okay to provide as a birth certificate? Yes. That's the birth certificate. If the Brazilian government took her birth certificate away and gave her a marriage certificate, then they log it in the computer and they change her name. I guess that's how they do it in Brazil. So that's her new birth certificate. Juanita, my dad is Colombian. Okay. Your dad is Colombian, and your mom is Venezuelan. Julian ALO, but the Congolese embassy here print also documents. Can I go to the embassy of Congo and ask them to make another birth certificate? And yeah, you can do that. If you have access to the Congolese government, go right ahead and make the correction. But I don't think it's going to be a problem. Juanita, on my grandma's side, she is now divorced. Okay, gotcha. Well, give my best wishes to your family in Venezuela and also in Colombia. Big Mitch, thank you so much, Diego. No worries. Yeah, Big Mitch, it's considered a birth certificate issued by the Brazilian government. Now remember, Big Mitch, when your fiance is going to have to go into the U.S. Embassy website in Rio de Janeiro and print a singleness letter. She has to sign a letter of singleness in front of the consular officer at the K1 visa interview and check her passport, check her Brazilian passport, and make sure that it is got at least 8 months of time left on it. If it has 8 months, if it has less than 8 months time before it expires, she needs to get a new Brazilian passport. Mackenzie Owens, August 19th, NOA1 here. I am seeing that some people whose case has been passed up are messaging congressmen to help them. What do you think? Okay, if you go to the USCIS website time frame, if it says 16.5 months, etc., then you have to wait at least 18.5 months before you can contact immigration. If you contact immigration after 18.5 months and they don't respond, then you contact your congressman if you want to. Okay? But your congressman will not help you unless the time has passed plus beyond the time that immigration is set to process this visa. But it's a good idea if if you want to do that. But just make sure enough time has passed. Otherwise, immigration is going to tell your congressman to pack sand. Julian ALO. Diego, you didn't read my comment up. How do I start to explain because of birth certificate? Julian, but the Congolese embassy here print also documents. Can I go to the embassy of Congo and ask them to make another birth certificate? Yes. Sure. I answered your question. You can do that. Big Mitch, perhaps that is the reason for the letter of singleness, because of the way they handle marriage and the birth certificate. There you go. Now all the pieces are coming together, right, for Brazil. Okay? In Brazil, go to the embassy website in Rio de Janeiro, print the letter of singleness, take it to the embassy interview, and she signs it in front of the embassy officer. Then he will sign it and stamp it and put it in the K1 visa package. And then she'll get her K1 visa. Teja Sweeney, Diego, I am just curious, why did you go through this process and then the spouse visa? Teja Sweeney, okay. I married a foreign national from South America. I went through the K1 visa process. It took 9 months from NOA1 to visa and the passport, just 9 months. She came to the United States. We got married within 90 days. After living in the United States for a couple of months, she didn't like it here. She didn't like the weather. She didn't like the hurricanes. She was scared to death of hurricanes. She thought the entire state of Florida was going to get wiped out because of a hurricane. Okay. She didn't like to learn to drive a car. She was scared to drive. She was used to riding the bus and taking taxis. She'd step out of her house in her country and get a taxi just like that. Here where I live, you got to wait 30 minutes for a taxi if you call one, an Uber, an hour. There's no buses. There's no transportation. So she had to learn to drive. Okay? Which she didn't want to do. I taught her how to drive, but she was scared she wouldn't drive. So she asked to go home. So I took her home. And then a few months after I took her home, she said she wanted to come back. So now I've been married, right? Now I went through the K1 visa process. I brought her to the USA. We got married. She was here a couple of months. She didn't want to be here. She didn't want to live here. Too hot, the humidity, everything was just not for her. I took her home. Then she changed her mind. She wanted to come back. So now I'm married. So now I had to refile the paperwork from the very beginning for a spousal visa. All right, CR1. So I did the spousal visa. Okay. I had to go back to the very beginning of the process, but it was no longer 9 months. Now it was almost 2 years because of COVID. COVID hit right at the middle of this spousal visa. I filed the CR1 visa, did all the paperwork, paid the visa fees, made a couple of trips back and forth to visit. And then I finally got her spousal visa approved at the embassy. The MVC, I uploaded all the documents to the MVC, which is a nightmare. And then the MVC said I got documentary qualified. Then they sent the visa package to the embassy. And then I called her up and said, hey, I got good news. I've got your visas at the embassy. You need to schedule your medical exam and make sure your vaccinations are up to date. She said, I don't want to live in the United States. She changed her mind for the second time. After I went through all this nightmare of the CR1 visa. Okay. So I said, look, I got you a K1 visa approved. I got you a spousal visa approved. Now, I understand you don't want to live in America. No problem. No problem. But you should have not have asked me to apply for a spousal visa. I could have divorced you a year and a half ago. So I said, I'm done. This is over. I'm not going to be jerked around. So I hired an attorney in her country, the best family law attorney in her country, and because she didn't want to sign any divorce papers. Okay, well, she's got no choice. In the United States, if you sign or if you don't sign, it's irrelevant. You still get a divorce. So I hired an attorney. He then hired an assistant. He served her the papers in Spanish. It had to be done in Spanish, so there was no question. She did not understand what was going on. And she got the guy shows up at her house with this big package, my divorce papers, and she took it. And then he said, you got to sign here. And she signed the sheet. He then went to his attorney. And then the attorney DHL'd me all the paperwork back to the United States. And then I had to wait for the divorce to go through. I wanted her to participate in the divorce. I had to do it by Zoom because of COVID. She didn't want to participate. She didn't want to be on the Zoom call. She didn't want to give her side of the story to the judge. That's her choice. And I had a translator, so there was no excuse. The judge said, where's your wife? We're on the Zoom call. Oh, she didn't want to participate. Okay, divorce is granted. Have a nice day. Boom. Then I had to wait for about a week, and I got the final divorce decree. Okay, that's what happened. So I've been through the K-1 visa and the spousal visa. And then I met Karina, my beautiful prometida, and I said, you know what? I'm going to do this again. I'm going to go through this K-1 visa for the second time. I'm a glutton for punishment, right? But I love Karina to death. She is such a good person. She is a good person. And if I hadn't have gone through all of that, I wouldn't have had all this knowledge to share with you. So I don't become a victim. I become a victor. And now I've helped probably 350,000 people all around the world with K-1 visas. At least 350,000 people have watched the channel, according to the analytics, So that's what happened. So be patient during this process. Let me see here. You are really, Patricia Sweeney, you are really patient to go through the process many times. Yeah. I learned this K-1 visa process the hard way, the school of hard knocks. Denise B. My birth certificate also has an issue. When I got married the first time, I used my old passport and has different age. And the one that I have now has a different age. Will that be an issue? If there is an age disparity between your passport and your birth certificate, that's an issue. You need to fix that. You got to get it fixed, okay? You can't, everything has to match up. Christopher Stout, make sure at the interview you got to read and write of things on paper. You got to read and write things on paper at the interview. Was there a test? They give you a written test. Come on, Christopher, tell me more. Julian ALO, I meant this first. So another problem of the birth certificate. We run away, right? Yeah, you got away. Yeah, Karina left Venezuela in a hurry. She went to Colombia, the country, because of war. Yeah, Karina left Venezuela because of communist dictators. She didn't like it. We left everything. Karina left everything. She left her house, everything. She left it all behind. And there's nothing there anymore. I don't have the birth certificate. And I don't have the birth certificate. Go to the Congolese embassy in Uganda and ask them for assistance, okay? Julian, thank you. I can go and get it at the Congolese embassy. Yes, go to the Congolese embassy. Be very nice to them. You may need to pay a little fee, Just be nice to them and they'll get you the information. Christopher, no, I was saying about if you can read and write English words. If you can read and write, most Filipinos can read and write English. Filipinos are very intelligent people, highly, highly intelligent people. They speak English fluently. They speak Tagalog fluently. And then some of the islands in the Philippines have their own dialects. Cebu has its own dialect from Manila. Okay? So if your beneficiary who's Filipino can read and write English, she can write the letter of intent to get married in English. No problem. Sorcha Anderson. Sorcha. I love that name, Sorcha. That's an awesome name, Sorcha. Hi, Diego. Can my fiance put his house on the I-134 as an asset? Yeah. Now, here's the thing, and bank accounts too. Here's the thing. Okay, let me page down. If you put your house on the I-134 as an asset, you click over on the I-134, you hit the down arrow, and you click real estate, right? Then you put in the value of the house. Now, the value of the house will be what's the equity in the house. So if you have a $400,000 house and you owe $200,000 on the house, the equity is $200,000. That's how much. So if he was to sell the house, that's how much he would cash out, right? $200,000. Immigration are interested in what is the cash out value, not the total value. And you also have to prove ownership of the house. So if your beneficiary puts the house on the I-134, you got to prove ownership. You can do that by going to the property appraiser's office or go online, click in property appraiser for whichever county you live in. Look for, property, look for your house, look for your name, and then it will bring up the value of your house and who's the owner. Okay. So yeah, if you use the house, you got to prove two things. How much is it worth? Its value in equity, and are you the owner? You got to prove ownership. Christopher Stout, what if you rent by someone on I-134? If you rent an apartment, you don't have to put that down as an asset. You don't own the apartment. If you rent a house or if you rent an apartment from somebody, you don't own that house or that apartment. That belongs to somebody else. It belongs to the landlord. So you can't include it. Okay, guys, I've been talking an hour and 22 minutes. I'm going to go make some lunch. I hope you guys like the surprise live stream. We got a bunch of questions covered today. And so I'm going to go make some lunch, and then Sorcha gets the last word. What other assets are accepted? Well, you use bank. You can use your house. If you have two cars, you can use one of the two cars. If you have one car, you cannot use the car. If you have two cars or three cars or four cars, if you have three cars, you can use two cars. But you cannot use the car if you only own one car. Get the Kelley Blue Book value on the car and include it with the paperwork at the embassy interview. Okay, guys, I'm out of here. And thanks for those super chats, guys. And Mitch, you get added to the list of credits from my videos, your videos.